Meanwhile, I'm just going to open my beverage.
How's everybody doing? It's the Korra Spoilercast.
Spoilercast.
I was in class, yeah.
For those of you who've been paying attention, you'll notice that we didn't have a Spoilercast last week. That's because last week, the episode Remembrances was basically a clip show.
It was a clip show.
Because Nickelodeon slashed Legend of Korra's budget to the tune of basically an entire episode. And so they put that together basically to have something.
Right.
It had a few minutes of new footage, but mostly it was Mako and Wu together. Mako's trying to teach Wu how to fight, and Wu is not good at it. Wu down constantly. Woo! And then it was Mako telling kind of his story to Wu. We had Korra and Asami having tea together and talking about shit. And then Varric telling his version of events and how he would tell the whole story from the perspective of a mover about Nuktuk playing Bolin, the savior of the world.
Nice.
So, I mean, it's worth a watch, but we're not going to talk about it because...
Right. It didn't push our story forward.
Yeah, nothing happened. It was just kind of recapping the last 3.5 seasons.
Right.
But this week, brand new episode, Into the Wilds.
Yes.
Really good episode.
It was really, really well done.
Korra, I think, finally is back to 100%, maybe even better than before, because she's had to go through so much, and she's kind of finally come to terms with everything that's happened to her.
Yeah, I mean, she even says, like, I'm not going to forget what's happened to me, but I think I can finally accept it.
Yeah, and how she came to accept it was maybe the biggest surprise of the season.
Yeah, I was really not surprised that it would turn out that way.
She went and saw Zahir in prison, who, far from being the menace that we saw him before, it seems almost that he's more at balance and at peace than he's ever been.
He spends most of his time in the spirit world.
Yeah.
Even though he's chained here in the physical world.
And it seems like as a result, he's actually... and they've brought it up a lot this season, that these villains weren't necessarily evil people, but they had these beliefs that were actually worthwhile that they just... took too far.
Skewed, got skewed and they took too far.
And Zahir being that his idea was freedom for all. But for him, the way he carried it out was at the expense of the lives of a lot of people. And, we saw that moment where Korra confronts him and says, you talk about freedom, and then you killed the Earthquake, and now we have the worst dictator in the history of the Earth Kingdom. So thanks for that. And he saw that remark really cut him. He's
like, it wasn't supposed to happen like that.
Yeah, he really was pained by what's happened and his role in it. And that what Kuvira is doing is affecting even the spirit world, because his time in there, he's seeing and hearing about it. And as bad as the Earthquake was, she never fucked shit up so bad that the spirit world is reacting.
Right.
Which is what we're seeing now. She's chopping up the swamp, and it's causing the spirit vines in Republic City to go crazy and start grabbing people. I'm assuming they're going to trying to use their energy and feeding off of it to try to defend themselves.
Right.
Because they had them they grabbed a bunch of people, a tour group led by Ryu,
our resident hipster airbender.
Yeah, which was absolutely hysterical to see him again. He bleached his hair and shit. And I want to confirm this, but somebody told me that Ryu's voice is actually John Heder. So I want to check that out, because if it's actually Napoleon Dynamite voicing the character, it's even more amazing.
That would be awesome.
So I'm gonna check this out real quick. It is him.
He does his voice.
He does Ryu and Ryu's dad.
God, Mom.
God.
That's awesome.
Don't get flustered, Ryu.
I'm not. That's awesome that it's John Heder. I did not know that at all.
So yeah, it's basically like the Napoleon Dynamite of airbenders.
I was reading the cards off to the tour group.
Yeah.
And they're asking questions like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Just let me finish my cards.
Why is that vine coming towards us? I don't see anything in my cards about that. I'm going to poke it with a stick. Why would you do that? I fucking love the tour group.
That's awesome.
So, yeah, that was great. But, yeah, the vine snatched up Napoleon Dynamite and his mom and dad in the tour group. And then Janora got caught. And they had these little pods. So it was clear they were had plans, and I'm assuming they were trying to take their spiritual energy.
Well, because they were surrounded in spirit energy. Because when she was in the spirit world, she's like, "I can't bend here." Like, well, you can.
I have no powers here.
Yeah,
that was the thing. Like this whole episode was about people kind of breaking Korra's preconceptions of herself.
Right.
These roadblocks and these limits she's put on herself. I don't know, for a variety of reasons. No doubt because,
from self-doubt.
Yeah. That, maybe she's afraid that she'll fail or get hurt, so she puts limits on herself to not have that happen. Mm-hmm. Zahir says it that she says my powers have limits, and he's like, you're wrong. I think your powers are limitless.
He's like, yeah, that poison should have killed you, and it didn't.
Yeah, you fought it. For a long time.
Right.
And then we see Rava again in the spirit world, and Korra's like, I'm powerless here. And then Rava's like, no, you're most powerful here because you're connected to all the spiritual energy of the planet. So a lot of this kind of, Korra, almost rebooting Korra and what she actually believes. Because I think in most heroes and most just abilities and powers, even of regular people, you can only do what you believe you can do.
Right.
So
your limits are put up by yourself.
Yeah, your mind is your biggest enemy, and the thing that's going to get in your way. If you don't believe you can do something, you're not going to do it. Which is why you'll see people that don't look remarkable that can do remarkable things.
Right.
Because they believe they can do it.
Right.
And that's definitely what this is all about. Korra, this whole season, is about her kind of believing in herself and her own powers, which is kind of a bigger metaphor for, again, the feminist thing. That the first few seasons she was fighting against powerful men and the systems that made them powerful. And now it's all about her, realizing her own power, independence of all that, without necessarily an opposition.
Right.
Because Kuvira is, while she's a powerful enemy, she's kind of...
She's not the direct cause of all these limitations.
No, she's not causing Korra's problems.
Right.
She's causing problems for the world, but she hasn't, caused Korra any problems directly. It's all been about Korra realizing herself and her own power and really becoming her true self.
Right.
And it's interesting because Kuvira, you look at it, she's kind of had the same journey as Korra, where she's fighting a system, but instead of self-actualization, her solution was to kind of embrace all the trappings of that system and just basically try to be the woman in the man's world.
Right.
We saw the power suits of the 80s and stuff where they wear the big shoulder pads trying to look more masculine.
Right.
When that wasn't the solution, and all the solution was to be the best that you can be at what you're doing.
Right.
And right now Kuvira had good intentions, but now it's all kind of wrapped up in this, all these, false kind of, these costumes that she wears, like the masks, people would wear. She tries to, be all things to all people, and ends up being nothing as a result, other than just an empty suit, basically.
Basically, yeah. And I think it's really... We are finally seeing the potential that Korra has had in the past come back to life and come back through. And that's really exciting. And Mako's back in Republic City now, so...
Yeah, well, he never left.
We're back. Not Mako.
Bolin.
Yeah,
Bolin and Vera came charging back in.
Yeah.
We have top secret information for you!
Maybe we should leave with that line next time.
Yeah, but I like it because now it's like everything's coming together. The Korra discovered on her own by tapping into the spirit vines that what Kuvira was stealing them, and then Bolin and Vera come in to confirm that she's building a weapon. So it's like, I liked how both parties came to the kind of same conclusion, but then they brought them together to kind of really confirm it.
Right.
But it wasn't like they weren't completely ignorant.
Right.
And so now we have Republic City's going to be hunkering down, going on the defensive, because the Fire Nation nor the Airbenders will condone a preemptive strike on Kuvira. Water Tribe, suspiciously absent from the whole thing. I'm kind of confused.
There wasn't even a representative of the Water Tribe there.
Deska, or Korra's father, none of them were there. Which
is really kind of odd. I know they said that they could say they were going to send word to Korra's father to go into the spirit world. Yeah,
that was the original plan, was before Korra rescued everybody, was to send people physically through the portal of the South Pole. But Bolin's story was mostly about him trying to repair things with Opal.
Right.
And how spectacularly he failed. And rightfully so. he even had the point where he actually said out loud all the things that happened to Opal's family, not because of him, but because of Kuvira. And he was with Kuvira, out of ignorance to what was really happening. He thought he was genuinely doing a good thing. But he even says, when I say it out loud, it sounds terrible.
Yeah.
Like, he realizes how the level of fucked up he's caused. Yeah. So he tries to romance her with a picnic with steam buns that were. I love the fact that he's like Pedma's recipe, just throwing out that random Pedma reference. The fact that he spent so much time with Tenzin's family, and that he's actually adopted Pedma's recipes for things to try to woo Opal, using Pabu as a little delivery boy with a note pinned around his neck with a ribbon. So there's like classic Bolin stuff, but then Opal just throws it back in his face in the most glorious fashion. She goes super sarcastic on him, which is hilarious. He's like, sit down, have some steam bums, and just forget about everything. Oh, sure, some steam bums will be great. They'll make me forget about the fact my entire family is being held prisoner by a maniac. She apologizes to Pabu for having to see them fight. Right. That was the best part. Like, I'm sorry you had to see that, Pabu.
And he walks away. Yeah. I don't know. It was classic. It was classic Bolin, but at the same time, you feel bad for him. He knows he fucked up. He understands he's fucked up. He just wants to make everything right.
Yeah, but it's not that easy. And
he even said at the end of the episode, he's like, "I'm going to go with you."
Yeah,
I got to make this right.
A little backtracking. Opal and Lin are planning a covert operation to bust out their family and take back Zhao Fu. And at the end, Bolin sees them leaving, and then he decides to go with them to try to help make it up. Even if she doesn't take him back, he's going to do what he can to try to make things right. Because that's the kind of person he is.
And he'd tell her that he loved her. So
yeah, that was nice. And she's like, "Thank you for saying that." That was adorable.
Aww. And it's Bolin, and
I want Opal and Bolin to be together so bad.
Yeah,
they're like the best couple.
They're gonna end up back together by the end of this. I almost guarantee that. If nothing else,
she better at least keep at least one eye on him, because he is Nuktuk, star of the movers. He's got a lot of fans.
He does.
He's got a lot of options. He has his frozen lady friend from the north.
Yes. It's good stuff, man. It was a good episode.
Yeah, really solid, and it's good because now it's like, okay, Korra's boom back to full strength, and now it's time for like the big finish.
Yeah, the big final 4 episodes.
Korra's step by step this season kind of healed bit by bit by bit, and I like the fact that it took the 9 episodes for her to finally kind of have that get the relief, the mental release that she's accepted what's happened to her. And she's ready to move on. In the original, in the Avatar: The Last Airbender Book 3, you had the journey through the Fire Nation that ended with the big battle. This one was more of a journey of self. Yeah, more than it was. And that's definitely this. We've said it over and over, and we're kind of beating it to the ground that the Avatar: The Last Airbender was about the world. Legend of Korra is about one person, about one woman. It's about Korra, and it's about her journey. And again, it's good because you have the difference between the shows. The one was about external conflicts. This one's all been about internal conflicts. And it's at this point, Korra feels more satisfying than Avatar: The Last Airbender as a whole. Well, I think that the journey of oneself is a lot more interesting than the journey of the hero. You know what I mean? Like, and as much as I do like Aang, he always felt like he was a bit too together for like a 12-year-old kid. He knew who he was. He knew what he was doing. What he needed to do. He was for the most part spiritually balanced. He had his morals, and he stuck to his guns. And he was just like he ran away from being the Avatar at the beginning of the show, and then it was just like, oh well, yeah, I'm fine. We got to stop this stuff. Yeah, you know what I mean? He ran away from responsibility, but then he embraced it. Whereas with Korra, it's been a whole different thing. She was ready to embrace the responsibility from the get-go, but then she faced roadblocks that Aang never faced. Right. And so it's interesting to see just the self-doubt and how just how much your mind how much more your mind can trip you up than any physical setbacks can, or being literally poisoned was not as detrimental as to just the effect it has on your mind if you don't believe in yourself. Right. So absolutely enjoying this, and I'm really excited to see where everything's going now. Nick did announce that the finale is airing on December 19th.
On December 19th.
And they're airing Legend of Korra, like all of the seasons out of order on Nicktoons channel.
I saw that, yeah.
The Nicktoons channel right now. Nothing for season 4 that I saw, but like they have everything labeled as season 1 or 2, but it's like a mashup of all the first 3 seasons.
It's kind of weird.
So, I mean, if you want to randomly watch Korra, it's on there. But really, the only way to still watch it is through the broke-ass shitty Nick.com.
Right.
Which is just awful.
We had to restart the video like 6 times while we watched it.
Yeah, it would just freeze. So, this is a labor of love. And it's really starting to air on the side of labor. And I'm like, can we just like release everything on DVD or Hulu right now, please?
That would be great, yeah.
Just watch it.
That would be amazing.
Because this is just, it's been a struggle. Us Korra fans are really living this. I think the biggest struggle of any fucking TV fan right now on Earth. Nobody else has to work as hard to watch their show as we do.
Right.
So if you're watching Korra, then God bless you.
We applaud you.
You are having to work 3 times as hard as any other asshole watching fucking Walking Dead or Gotham or whatever else they're watching.
We do applaud you. We want you to come back here and listen to us while we go through the finale.
Yeah, absolutely. We're really looking forward to it, seeing how everything's going to go down, and to see what the new Korra is going to do, what she's capable of, how she's going to react. Because it's not just that she has her swag back; she's got a level of maturity that we've never seen from her before. So it'll be interesting now to see her kind of in this optimum level of both power and maturity, and like knowing what to do with it. Just like Aang hit in the end of season 3,
right?
Where he hit that level of being able to accept and use his powers, but also having the wisdom to know when not to use the power.
Right.
So really curious to see how Korra plays out now. So that'll do it for this week. We got to tune in next week. See what's going to happen.
Yeah, see what's going to go. What's going to go on?
Are they going to be able to go on? What's going to happen in Zaofu? I'm nervous about that shit.
And are they going to go if they're going to go back to the swamp and fight up there, or they're just going to go straight through Zaofu right now? I mean, there's still some stuff up in the air we got to deal with. How's
Toph and Zuko going to figure into the finale, or even Katara? She's still kicking and still being good old Katara,
right? Trying
to help everybody as she can,
right? So,
also, we have to know who Toph's baby daddies are.
We just want to know. Just let us know.
We gotta get the dirt sheets on this stuff. I want to know.
Episodes left. We want to know.
Have to know.
We got to know.
But thank you for everybody for listening.
Thank you very much for listening. Go make sure you check out our main podcast on podcastofdoom.com. You can find it on Stitcher and Stitcher and iTunes as well. Or you can just follow us on Twitter at Podcast of Doom. Hey, we appreciate it, guys. Thank you very much.
All right, I'll see you next week.
Yep, next week.
Spoilers.